So hello and welcome everybody. We are back again with me, Teacher Chris, and Open English. And today we're going to talk about 5 essential phrases to help you when having meetings in English. So hello and welcome everybody. We are live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Instagram as well. Very sorry to any Instagram Spain viewers, but we are having some technical difficulties with the Instagram Spain profile. So I'm very sorry that I am not live on Instagram Spain, but we are here with Latin America and Brazil on Instagram and everyone on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube as well. So hello and welcome. Hello, Carlos. Hello, Sylvia. Hello, Claudia. Hello, Felipe. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Hello, everybody. Yes, we are a very international community now. So I am going to speak in as much English as possible because not everybody speaks Spanish. So we are here in an English class, which is going to be all in English. So I will speak slowly and I will speak clearly. So hopefully everyone can understand my British accent. So hello in Turkey, hello in Brazil, hello Santiago. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. On Instagram as well, Aparecida Maricia, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. As I mentioned, today we're going to talk about 5 essential phrases for meetings in English. So tell me, where are you watching the class from? I am currently in Spain, so I am from England, but I live in Spain. Where are you watching the class from? Hello in Colombia. Hello Israel in Chile. Hello Juliana in Colombia. Hello Edward Rodriguez in Colombia. So thank you everybody for coming. Hello. Adang says, hello, I work in hospitality and I want to learn more English. Well, if you have any meetings in your job, then today's class is going to help you. I worked lots of years in hospitality. Hello in Argentina, hello in Miami, hello in New York. Wow, some really awesome places. Hello, thank you very much. Yagmur, you speak so fluent. I am from England, so yes, like hopefully I sound fluent because I am a native speaker. Hello in Honduras, hello in Dallas, hello in Colombia, hello Lena, good to see you. Hello, Maria. Hello, Santiago in Colombia. Hello, Martha. Thank you, everybody. Wow, lots of people. Hello in Brazil as well and Argentina. Thank you, everybody, for coming. So, let's begin the class. So today we are going to talk about 5 essential phrases for meetings in English. I mean, meetings at work, professional meetings. So very quickly, before starting the class, I want to remind you about our promotions because it's hashtag Open English Week. So in Latin America, in Open English Latin America, estamos en Open English Week y por eso tenemos una promoción de 60% descuento en nuestros cursos de inglés. Así que si quieres más información sobre nuestros 60% descuento, solo hay que escribir profe en los comentarios. In Open English Brazil, we are currently on 50% discount on our English courses for Open English Week. So if you would like more information about the 50% discount in Open English Brazil, just write profe in the comments. Profe in the comments for more information. Open English Brazil. Y Open English España en Facebook y YouTube. Recuerda que seguimos en nuestra oferta de 2x1, así que dos cursos por el mismo precio de un curso. Igual, si quieres más información, solo hay que escribir profe en los comentarios. So let's begin the class. So as I mentioned, today's class is 5 essential phrases for business meetings. So my first question for the class, does anybody here, does anybody in the class have meetings, business meetings in English? Does anybody here, any of our students, have business meetings in English? I have meetings in English and sometimes Spanish. So with open English, depending on the people I speak to, sometimes in English, sometimes in Spanish. Obviously, English is easier for me. Obviously, English is easier for me than Spanish. But what about you guys? So yes, colegas is saying yes, sometimes having meetings in English. Lisbeth, I'm sorry, I will try to speak slower and I will try to speak clearer as well. Damien has said yes, sometimes as well, having meetings in English. So if you do have meetings in English, tell me, do you struggle to understand, or is it difficult to follow the meeting in English? Tell me, is it difficult for you to have a meeting in English? So more people saying yes, they have meetings in English. So Lena saying no, but I have had meetings in English in the past. Okay, yeah, so people working for international companies. So yes, okay, I have meetings in Spanish, but I would like to have them in English. So yes, good answer. Analia as well is saying yes, many business meetings, but not in English. Well, even if you don't have meetings in English, today's class will prepare you for the future. So yes, lots of people saying it can be very difficult. Yes, when you're having a meeting in English. Yes, it can be very difficult. So here are 5 essential phrases in English to help you with business meetings. So the first phrase from today's class is to start a meeting. So if you want to start a meeting, you can use this phrase. The purpose of today's meeting is. And then obviously you say the subject. So the purpose of today's meeting is English classes. The purpose of today's meeting is Black Friday and the sales and the promotions. The purpose of today's meeting is the new product. So this is one phrase to start a meeting. But there are lots of different phrases that we can use to start a meeting. So can anybody give me an example of another way to start a meeting? So my example, the purpose of today's meeting is something. You can also give me that example to practice. So you can write in the comments my example to practice. Or you can give me another example. For example, when I start my classes, I say, today we are going to talk about, which is another way to say the same thing. The purpose of today's meeting is, or today we are going to talk about. So thank you. Lots of comments here. People saying they enjoy speaking English in meetings and also listening to English in meetings as well. So this is my first phrase for meetings in English. When you want to start a meeting, you can use this phrase. The purpose of today's meeting is something. Obviously, it depends on the job, it depends on the meeting, but there you go. So if anybody has any other examples, you can write them in the comments so we can help everyone. So Juliana, good try. Yes, so today we are going to talk about photography. Today we are going to talk about photography. Good example. Benicio, great example. Yeah, today we are going to learn about, exactly, great example. Analia, the purpose of this meeting is to know 5 different ways to start a meeting. Exactly, great example. So let's move on to the second important phrase for meetings in English, business meetings in English. So this phrase we can use to talk about the agenda. So we will speak about this first, then we will speak about this, then we will speak about this, then we will speak about this. This is the agenda. So a phrase to talk about the agenda. The agenda for today's meeting is. The agenda for today's meeting is A, B, C. The agenda for today's meeting is A, B, C. So the same question, please write your examples in the comments. Or also, you could use my example to practice. So the agenda for today's meeting is A, B, and C. Or can anyone think of another way to say this phrase when we want to outline? Excuse me, sorry, yeah, right in the middle of an explanation. I'm so sorry. So to outline the agenda of the meeting, we can use the phrase, the agenda for today's meeting is A, B, and C. So Claudia, yeah, the purpose of today's meeting is about the example. Great example. Yeah. Zona, good example. Yeah. The order for today's meeting is, the order, the agenda or the order. Really, really good example. We could also use the word structure. So the structure of today's meeting is, the structure of today's meeting is another way to talk about the agenda or talk about the structure. So let's move on to the third essential phrase, or just quickly, yes, the schedule for this week is exactly. So we can use the same phrase for meetings, the schedule for this week or the schedule for this meeting, exactly. So let's move on to the next essential phrase for business meetings in English. So this phrase is to ask about the work. So obviously we've started the meeting, we've said the agenda, so now we talk about work. So my essential phrase to teach you to talk about work is, how is the project coming along? Now, this is a really good phrasal verb, come along. How is the project coming along? What does coming along mean? It means going. How's the project going? How is the project coming along? Really, really good phrasal verb to use in business meetings. So asking about the work, how is the project coming along? So please write me any examples of your own. How can we ask about work? So an example for the agenda for today's meeting is a show, an example, and say salud after sneezing. Yeah, salud. Or in English, we would say bless you. Bless you. When somebody sneezes, we say bless you. How is the project coming along? Or if anybody else has any other examples, how is the work going? Or how is the project going? Really, really good. Is there another use for the phrasal verb come along? Yes, come along can also mean follow me. Like imagine you're talking to your dog. Come along, come along. It's like, it's the same as come, really. It's just it can be used to mean come along, or going. How's it coming along? How's it going? So thank you everybody for your comments. Really good examples. Yeah, so how's the project coming along, or how's the project going? Okay, so let's move on to the fourth essential phrase for business meetings in English. So this phrase is to change the topic. So this phrase in English is how we can move from one topic to another topic, changing topics. So let's move on to the next point. Let's move on to the next point. So this is a phrase to move from point A to point B. Let's move on to our next point. So English classes, English classes, English classes. Okay, let's move on to our next point. Something else, a different topic. So please, if you have any examples of your own, how else can we change topics in English? Does anybody know another phrase to change topics in English? Let's move on to the next point. Another phrasal verb with move on. Let's move on. Let's move to another point. Let's move on to the next point. So if anybody has any examples, or if maybe somebody has another way to change the topic in English, please write your examples in the comments. Let's move on to the next point. Let's talk about something else. So thank you very much. Okay, we have a question here from Talia. What time does the class start and how long? So these classes with myself and teacher Maritza on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube and LinkedIn are Monday to Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and they're around 30 minutes. But remember that on the Open English platform, there are unlimited classes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So on the Open English platform, the classes are all day, every day. Analia, great example. Yeah, the next topic is, and Zona as well. And now let's go to the second point. Yeah, very close. So I say let's go to the second point, or let's move on to the second point. Okay, great job, everyone. So let's move on to the next essential phrase for business meetings in English. So the last phrase is to finish a meeting. So how can we finish a meeting? We can use this phrase. Before we finish, let's go over everything we talked about today. Let's go over everything we talked about today. So another phrasal verb, let's go over. So go over means summarize. To summarize everything we've spoken about. Let's go over everything we've talked about today. So again, if you have any examples of your own, how can we finish a meeting in English? Write in the comments, how can we finish a meeting in English? Let's go over everything we talked about today is my example. To summarize, let's have a summary. Let's go over everything we talked about today. Okay, so thank you. Ingrid, thank you very much for your comment. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you like the class. So Mauricio, let's go over to dinner. I'm not sure if we would use that in a business meeting, but I mean, grammatically correct, yes. So, Benicio, great example. That's all for today's meeting. Yeah, that's all for today's meeting. Zona, great example. Yeah, to finish, let's have a summary. I would say, because go over means summarize. So we wouldn't say let's go over summary, because summary is go over. So let's go over the topics, let's go over the meeting, or let's summarize the topics, let's summarize the meeting. Analia, great example. Yeah, to finish, we are going to review the topics. Another really good verb to mean go over or to summarize. We are going to review the topics of today's meeting. So really, really good examples, everyone. So those are my 5 essential phrases for having a meeting in English. So let's recap them quickly. Unfortunately, I don't have a mini quiz for you today, but I do have a question at the end for the class. So very quickly, let's go over the points from today's class. So to start a meeting, we can use the phrase, the purpose of today's meeting is. The purpose of today's meeting is. The second phrase, to talk about the agenda for today's meeting is. The agenda for today's meeting is. The third phrase, to ask about work, is how is the project coming along? How is the project coming along? The fourth phrase, for changing the topic, let's move on to our next point. Let's move on to the next point. And the fifth phrase, to finish the meeting, let's go over everything we talked about today. Let's go over everything we talked about today. So I hope those 5 phrases helped you, but if they didn't help you, now is your opportunity to ask me any questions you like about business meetings in English. So lots of you said you have meetings in English. Is there anything you would like to ask me about English and business meetings? This is your opportunity to ask Teacher Chris any question you would like about English and business meetings. So does anybody have any questions, any doubts? Is there anything that's very, very confusing for people? And what about the rest of the meeting? Yes, I'm very sorry, Analia. In 30 minutes, it's very hard to talk about the whole meeting. I hoped those 5 phrases were helpful. But yes, maybe in the private classes with Open English, I'm sure you could have a simulated meeting, definitely. Okay, so yeah, lots of people saying that it can be very difficult to understand English in meetings. Yes, it can be very, very difficult to follow, especially when lots of different people are talking. When it's lots of different people talking English, it can be very difficult to follow. Okay, so so lots of people saying that, meetings in English. So I hope those phrases helped you a lot. I mean, I hope they helped you a bit at least. So before ending the class, before finishing, I want to remind you about a couple of things with Open English. Así que no os olvidáis que en Latinoamérica, Open English Latinoamérica, estamos en Open English Week y estamos en 60% descuento en nuestros cursos de inglés. Así que si quieres más información sobre ese 60% descuento, solo hay que escribir profe en los comentarios. In Open English Brazil, we are also in Open English Week, and we are having a discount of 50% in our English courses. So 50% discount on our English courses with Open English Brazil. You just need to write profe for more information. Profe in the comments for more information. Y en España estamos en promoción de 2x1, 2 cursos por el mismo precio de uno. Igual, si quieres más información, solo hay que escribir profe en los comentarios. Okay, so Ricardo, summarize or sum up. They're the same. Yeah, to summarize or to sum up are exactly the same. I would use sum up. Personally, as a native English speaker, I would use the phrasal verb sum up personally, but neither one is better than the other. They're both the same. Good question. So, también quiero recordaros del Open English Leveling Test. Así que esto es una nueva herramienta para descubrir tu nivel de inglés. Es completamente gratis. Vas a contestar algunas preguntas en inglés y te dice cuál es tu nivel. Si quieres hacer ese Leveling Test, solo hay que escribir test in los comentarios. So I also want to remind you of the Open English Leveling Test, which is a new tool that we have in Open English. It's completely free and it will give you your English level. So you will answer some questions in English and the tool will tell you your English level. If you want to do this leveling test, just write the word test in the comments. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming to the class. I hoped these phrases for business meetings in English helped you, and I hoped you enjoyed it as well. I hope you had a bit of fun laughing at my energy. So yeah, so today is Thursday, so it's my last class of the week. But remember that tomorrow at the same time, Teacher Maritza will be here for another class, live class on all of these social media platforms. So from me, I want to say thank you very much again for today's class, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. So thank you very much, and bye-bye.